What is up, everybody? I am Chobo Peon. This is day 2 at MLG Columbus. I'm here with my trusty sidekick, John King Kong. How was your day 2?
It was a great day 2. A little bit long, but you know what? I can't wait to see the finals tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to give you a recap here of StarCraft 2, Halo, and the fighting games. We're going to start off with StarCraft 2 because... And Pool A, going Marine King, Gonzi, MC, Crazy Moving, Sase, and Thorzan. The big story there was Crazy Moving from Infinity 7. It's funny because he was Code A in GSL. He made, I thought, a big splash there, but he comes here and all of a sudden everyone acts like they don't know him. But now they certainly do. And Infinity 7 certainly getting their money's worth this time around. A lot of publicity, a huge success for that team. Pool B, DRG, Naniwa, JYP, Heypro, DeMuslim, and Astajoy. We talked about Heypro. How did he do this time around?
Well, yesterday he had a pretty good 2-0 run, losing at the end one game. But today it seems he's kind of slumped out a little bit. He finished the groups 2-3. A little bit of the magic that he had yesterday had kind of fallen out. We also had, obviously, Dong Ragu took the group in very convincing fashion. It's not surprising at all. I think that the biggest news that we have coming out of Group B is obviously with the Ostagy Puma situation, wherein Puma was disqualified for one game and then ended up losing the series to Ostagy 2-1. I think we're actually going to have a comment from both parties tomorrow, so we'll check out that article whenever it gets published.
Absolutely. The Astagy thing is a really interesting piece of drama for me because of the way it was handled by Alex Garfield, who is the CEO of Evil Geniuses. He went on Reddit. He posted lengthy comments about it. He made interesting points about the sportsmanship of the whole thing. Astagy came and commented back. Like he said, ESFI will have a full story there. It's a little too much to go into depth now, but suffice to say, a lot of interesting things said by a lot of influential people that actually got a huge response from the community. So who knows how that affects It's Go Sue, which is Astagy's team, and Evil Geniuses, which is obviously Puma and Alex Garfield's team. So we shall see. Pool C went to Hart, Huck, Violet, Rhett, Kawhi Rice, and Sock. The big story there for me, obviously Hart coming in, wrecking Huck's pretty little weekend, but the big story for me was Kawhi Rice, so the open bracket went like this. Sheth had to play Pulp because of the Great Stefano Pulp match, and Sheth seemed really upset about it, actually. He tweeted when he figured out that his bracket was that. He said, "Oh, great, I got a great seed." Oh, wait. Because he figured, honestly, I assume he didn't have much confidence in that, but he came in and he beat Pult, who had just beat Stefano. No one expected that. And then Kawhi Rice goes ahead and beats Sheth. No one really expected that. And then Kawhi Rice goes into Pool C, which no one really expects him to get into, loses to Rhett. Another thing I didn't really expect, goes 1-4 total. I didn't really expect much. If I was a betting man, I would have lost a lot on Kawhi Rice this time around, but he is going to be playing Pult, which is an ironic twist, as has been pointed out. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Pool D, parting alive, the STC, Oz, and Rain, and Grubby with a particularly bad showing at 0-5, winning just 2 games the entire time around. Let's talk about, of course, the entire open bracket finished out today, and we had Yada being, for me, a big story. I know that he was the talk of the MLG staff. As soon as it came in, everyone was saying, "Who's this Yada?" He beats Destiny, not a huge story. He beats Shu, still not a huge story. Beats Killer, everyone's saying, "Who's this?" Beats Drewby, everyone's saying, "Who's this?" Goes down 0-2 to Puma. Not exactly nothing to be ashamed of there, but quite a story there. Yada, for those of you who don't know, Protoss from Convergence Gaming. He's a full-time student in RIT, but I assume, who knows if that'll continue or not. I'm sure it will, but I assume he's going to get some attention from major teams. Now, you were talking about your big story was Sleep. How did he do this weekend?
Yeah, Sleep had he had a bad draw in round. He gets a bye round 1. Round 2, he hits TSL Symbol. So that's obviously one of the bigger, it's obviously, it sucks for Sleep to fly all the way out here and immediately get struck with one of the probably the strongest game in round 2. But then he falls to loser's bracket. Starts off today. He goes on an amazing run. He beats out some really great players and unfortunately loses out in the end. But it was just a great way to see him competing all the way through the loser's bracket today.
So tomorrow we have the championship bracket, we have losers bracket, and the regular championship bracket. We're going to move on now and talk about that real briefly. We have Marine King versus Parting and Hart versus Dongri Gu, which sets up, I don't want to sell anyone short. I don't want to sell Parting and Hart short. But just for the sake of setting up the story, it sets up Marine King DRG. DRG, the self-proclaimed best player in the world, and I think most people here would probably agree. Marine King, the winner of the Winter Arena, and this is going to be a rematch of the Winter Arena Finals, which was an extended series, so I'm sure a lot of people are pulling for that. Plus, they just have huge fan followings, especially compared to these guys. So look forward to that shaping up as soon as we start off tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Let's get into the rest of the games, though. Halo was something that really struck me. I was sitting in the middle there for StarCraft 2 for the entire day, and Halo was to my right, fighting games were to my left, and Halo was making noise. Fighting games did not have a huge crowd. All weekend they haven't had a huge crowd. Halo, different though. Halo has had a huge crowd and a loud crowd, and that's because their game is threatened to be being cut off of MLG, and they know it, and they came out and they supported it, and they were loud, and they had some great games. For instance, one of the great classics, I know that Washi said it was one of the best games he's ever seen, and if Washi says that, it probably carries some weight. Instinct down 0-2 to Fnatic, coming back, winning 3 straight the last game, coming down to the last kill, which Pistola makes. It was 49-49, comes down, and Pistola makes it. I believe it was Pistola anyway. Excuse me if I get that wrong. Makes it, wins it. The crowd pops. Everyone in StarCraft turns their head to the right and says, what game is that? They're still here, but they are, and they're loud, and they're passionate. But the stream numbers, not that great for Halo from what I hear. The fighting game community did get more in the streams than Halo. We'll see how that fares for Halo's future. Another story related to the stream is that the Twitch TV mirrors for MLG were taken down because of advertising issues. And what I mean by that is the people who advertised on MLG's own proprietary stream realized that Twitch does a bunch of their own advertisements, wasn't very pleased with it, got that taken down, obviously much to the dismay of everyone. You got to wonder who made that decision and who didn't see that coming. Hopefully that's something that we hear about in the coming days because people were definitely wondering that. What happened with all the fighting games?
We definitely had a lot of action today. King of Fighters finished up most of their games yesterday, but today was the finals of King of Fighters, plus up to about, I believe, the winners semifinals for Soul Calibur 5, and about the same for Mortal Kombat 9. Like you were saying, yeah, the draw for the crowd for the fighting game community wasn't quite as big as, say, like Halo or StarCraft. If you look over at the Halo crowd, you'd almost be surprised to hear that it might be on its way out, because they were always loud, always cheering. Whereas you saw quite a few empty seats over on the fighting game community side. But at the same time, the numbers for the fighting game streams we're doing absolutely phenomenal. They're doing much more than you would expect for games like Mortal Kombat or Soul Calibur or even King of Fighters, which you usually don't see too much of it, which usually don't get too much exposure. Coming out of King of Fighters 13, which wrapped up today, the winner was IGL Bala, who won 6-2 over YSJ KOF. Obviously, some exciting matches coming in there. In Mortal Kombat 9, we're still up to the round of 8. Players like Perfect Legend and VVV Rio are still alive. And in Soul Calibur 5, like I said, we're in the winter semis. Things will be wrapping up nicely tomorrow. I think that one of my big stories was Justin Wong, who is probably the biggest celebrity at this turnout. He didn't really fare too well. He was my pick to win all 3 events. That might have been a bit of a stretch, but he seems to have bowed out a little bit early, average, I guess. But it's also, I guess, a little bit of a testament to his skill that he picks up these games for about 2 weeks and fares pretty well against some of the best players. So though we didn't see quite a big crowd for the fighting game community today, I don't think that means much. I think that the Twitch numbers, or the stream numbers at least, Twitch is a bit down Twitch is down right now, but the stream numbers suggest that this kind of has a future here at MLG, that we might see more fighting games, and I guess the sky's the limit at this point.
Great. So I want to ask you one more question before we wrap up. Again, I asked you this last night, and this is day 2. This is your first MLG. What are your impressions for day 2?
It's certainly a lot more tiring than I expected. It's certainly a thrill to be here. The emotion is insane. Especially like I was surprised, like I said, with the Halo guys. Those guys absolutely were on their feet all the time, cheering as things were going on. The StarCraft, anytime there was a major match, it was just packed. MLG added more chairs, but even then, it wasn't enough. People are still standing around, like trying to find room. room to watch matches like Stefano and Polt yesterday, or some of the bigger matches that were going on today. So it's been absolutely phenomenal to be here, and I'm just glad to be here.
Awesome. He's John King. I'm Chobo Peon. This has been the Day 2 wrap-up. Check out ESFIworld.com for follow-ups on everything we're talking about and more interviews tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys.